All right, good evening once again. I just want to welcome everyone for today's online facilitation on NSC 5, NSC 303, Unit 1. I want to say thank you for joining, for those of us who are already here. In today's class, briefly, we are going to look at health concepts and prerequisites. When we say health concepts, what do we mean? We understand that there is a general concept that health is simply an absence of diseases. And we do know that health is not simply an absence of diseases. Many are individuals who are not in the hospital, but they are sick. And so if we agreed that health is not an absence of disease alone, but is a complete wellness, what then is health? What then is health? So health simply is defined as Health simply is defined as a complete wellness, a complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. And so we've seen that the oldest concept of health do not apply in our 21st century. So if a person is not in a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, is not in health. And so that takes us to the concept of health. We have health concept and the changes. A brief changing concept of health are given as follows: ecological concepts, psychosocial concepts, biomedical concepts, and holistic concepts. What do we mean by ecological concepts? Ecological concepts focus on mutual relationship between man and his environment and visualize health as a dynamic equilibrium between man and his environment. While psychosocial concepts, this concept visualize health not only as a biomedical phenomenon, but that it is also influenced by various other factors such as social factors, psychological factors, cultural, economic, and political factors. These factors are very essential in defining and measuring health. Biomedical concepts. The concept stress the germ theory, that is, disease or ill health is caused due to disease causing germs or organisms. These concepts focus on the view that diseases can only be caused by the organism without taking other causative factors into consideration. And when we say other causative factors into consideration, we talk about the other determinants, such as the hereditary factor, such as the lifestyle of the person, such as the socio-economic of the person, such as the environment of the person. All these are very important to be put into consideration when we are looking at the concept of health. And the last concept we want to look at is the concept of holistic. And this concept is a synthesis of all the concepts mentioned above. It focuses on the impact of socioeconomic, political, environmental, and biological, biomedical influence on health. It sees the well-being of a person as a whole in the context of its total environment. And so we've seen that the concept of health is broad. It's very, very broad. And so we've looked briefly at the biomedical concepts, the ecological concepts, the psychosocial concept, and the holistic concept. So from the definition of health, we want to look at the dimensions of health. And basically, we have 4 dimensions of health that we are going to discuss. We have the physical dimension, the mental dimension, the spiritual dimension, as well as the social dimension. As we can see here on the diagram, we have the dimensions of health: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. When we say physical dimension of the health, it means that the whole body is functioning well, and the body is in a state of health in which every cell of the body functions normally. So when the organs and the cells of the body are functioning harmoniously and correctly, we can say that a person is in health. That is, the physical dimension of the person is functioning well. When we say mental, what about the mental dimension of a person? Mental health is the ability of an individual to adjust to varied situations and to respond to varied experiences with a sense of purpose and with flexibility. Mental and physical health are interdependent. A poor mental health adversely affects the physical health and vice versa. When a person is mentally imbalanced, is psychologically disturbed, it affects the physical of the person. And this is because the physical and the mental being or dimension of a person are interdependent. When you are psychologically disturbed, when you are mentally stressed, it affects your physical life. So it's important to note that a person is in health when the physical, the mental, the social, and the spiritual dimension of the person are balanced and are working or functioning very well. What do we mean by social? It is important to know that we are social beings. You can't live in isolation. When you live in a community, you should be able to interact freely with others. When a person is not able to relate with others and interact with them freely, there is a problem. There is a problem. What about the spiritual dimension of a person? A spiritual person tends to enjoy a balance of health. How do I mean? When there is a set of beliefs or ethics that is guiding a person on what to do and what not to do, on or having a higher being. When you have a higher being that you depend on, it gives you a kind of hope when you are faced with issues of life. And so you are not completely broken. You have something to fall back to, either praying or meeting a group of fellow believers that you both share the same norms or beliefs. They tend to share your burden with you. They tend to encourage you. It tends to read things, materials that uplift your mind. And so when all these are in place, you have health, because even those in mental health specialists, they made us to understand that individuals who have beliefs tends to cope better when they fall sick than someone who do not have a higher being that they believe in. So we've seen the 4 dimensions of health are very, very important. And another thing that I want us to quickly look at before we close for today is the determinant of health. A lot of things determines our health. And one of the things is lifestyle. For lifestyle, many of us forms habits that is affecting or has affected our health. Habits such as eating habits, time in which we eat our meals, our sleeping time, exercise. Many of us have poor culture or poor habits of exercise. Many do not even exercise at all. Many eat. And the time of eating, all these. And let me just quickly share with you, I do have a friend. Well, I can call him a friend who does not eat. He believes that whenever he eats, he's a very busy guy. And he believes that food makes him drowsy. And so for that reason, he doesn't eat. He only takes juice all the time. And you see, that's a lifestyle that he has long formed and has become part of him. And you know, as a result of that, he constantly have headache. And I do tell him that, no, it's because you are abusing your body. But he doesn't believe me. So that's the lifestyle that is causing health problem to him. And so he continued to take painkiller, even on an empty stomach. So we see that is a lifestyle that is causing health problem to someone, and it can and it does cause for many individuals. What about, and the important thing about lifestyle determinant is that can be corrected, because it's a matter of identifying it and making conscious efforts to start changing your lifestyle from the positive, from the negative to positive. If it is not sleeping on time or not having at least 6 hours of sleep, you begin to increase or improve your sleeping time. If it is going to bed early, you work on you going to bed early. If it is eating, if you have not been eating, then you start eating. And if you've been eating excessively, and which is causing you health issues, you begin to cut down your intake. So if it is smoking, you now see that, oh, this smoking is causing problem. What you begin to do, is to begin to drop and share with people who can help you to overcome this lifestyle. If it is drinking alcohol, then that is causing your problem, causing health problem, what you need to do is to share or meet people that can help you overcome this lifestyle that is causing health problem. Hereditary is another determinant. For hereditary, many of us may not be able to have influence much on that, but we can minimize the danger. Take for instance, in a family where they have diabetes or cancer or glaucoma or whatever medical problem, it is possible that an individual that is from that family is likely to have such a problem. So if you know all that, then you can begin to see how you can prevent it. For some, they may not outrightly prevent it. For hereditary, you have little or less power over it. But what about the environment? The environment an individual lives also is a great determinant of health. Where an individual stays in a polluted, dirty, unhygienic environment, it can affect the health of the person. The socio-economic of a person is also another big issue. When someone is not economically buoyant or is having challenges socio-economically, it can affect the person. It can greatly affect the person because the person keeps thinking, how do I solve this? How do I go about this? How do I feed my family? So as a nurse, it is important that when we meet clients, we help them to identify what is actually causing health problems to them. We shouldn't see our clients, our patients, as just a biomedical, from the biomedical concept of health alone. We should be able to look at them holistically and find what is it that is causing this person to have this health problem. And so that is the summary. Yes. So, okay. So that is the summary of Unit 1. And I want to say thank you so much for those of us that have joined the class. We'll see same time next week. God bless. Is there, okay, before we end the class, is there someone who has a question or something to contribute?